Oh, was that recorded?
No. Well, yes, but we'll cut that out. Hey, welcome to A Bold and Distant Future. We're going to try to cover the week's news in 25 minutes or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of moving and shaking with Trump being in Asia right now. It's also day 30 of the government shutdown.
Indeed.
The U.S. government is still shut down. We might break the last record of 35 days. And
I'd say it's a good bet.
yeah, I think it might be. But you were just speaking about the weapons testing that Trump wants to do.
There hasn't been any atomic weapons testing since 1992, and I consider the amount of pollution that nuclear testing puts into the atmosphere, and I think it's a completely and totally irresponsible thing to do. You know the goddamn things work. It's just a show of power. It's like his stupid parade, you know?
Yeah.
It's a show of power. But then the other thing that is interesting in the saber rattling is what Putin has said. They've now got a nuclear torpedo that can cause a tsunami that would be radioactive, that would wash any low-lying cities.
And that's exactly what feeds into this beautiful graphic that I found. Now that's what I call a distraction from the Epstein files.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh?
Yeah, threat of thermonuclear war. That's a big distraction.
Well, we haven't gotten under school desk for quite some time, have we?
We're going back to those days, duck and
You
cover.
know, I look back on that after I saw Oppenheimer, and I thought, well, it would have been better to practice yoga so you could bend over and kiss your ass goodbye.
Well, this is happening, and I don't know who's putting it on. There was no link to it, but I'm just putting it out there for the sake of putting it out there. We're not asking. We're shutting it down. Mass blackout.
Love it.
November 25th to December 2nd. So it's about a week.
I have no problem with that since we hardly buy anything anyway.
Largest economic blackout protest in U.S. history begins November 25th. No work, no spending, no restaurants, no projects, no events, no restaurants again. Okay, twice. No backing
I'll just
out.
go out and commune with nature. That sounds fabulous for that many days. Maybe I'll go up to the Gualala River if it's open.
Yeah.
Do some steelhead fishing.
So this idea is floating out there. People are talking. I mean, this isn't really a general strike, but it kind of is in a way.
I haven't seen this yet, so this is first news for me. Where did you find this?
It just floats across my news feed. I grab it. So I don't know who's putting it out there. There was no link. There was no, website to go for more information. So take it with a grain of salt, but I'm going to do it, of course.
But it's interesting because this is what I've always said. You know, people say that corporations have all the power, but in reality, we have all the power because if we didn't buy whatever it is they're selling, what do they do then? Just stockpile goods that are never going to be sold?
Yeah.
And it is about a mindset change. Things we have to have, but there's a lot of things we don't have to have, and the consumer mindset has driven this thing. Another thing too, when you think about it, looking at the economy and the stock market in the face of what's going down with the shutdown and all this other stuff, isn't that just an odd combination that the stock market's still kicking butt? And there are those that are saying, oh yeah, there's going to be a recession in 2026, but there was those that said that about 2025.
Right.
I don't know,
The Satanic Temple has announced that they will provide food to anyone requiring assistance due to SNAP benefits being cut off on November 1st, and the Evangelical Church has not.
Excellent.
Kind of interesting who's rushing to help the average citizen in this time of need.
Indeed.
But these people are doing the right thing. And I'm getting this from Goths Against Fascism Worldwide and this other fellow, Damian Carrion, kind of from left field like this. But
Very interesting.
yeah, this is weird. This is one of the head of Department of Homeland Security, the guy who went into Los Angeles. And he's doing this cosplay thing where he was dressed up in this kind of Third Reich kind of coat. See, this was taken recently in Los Angeles. This is not taken in the 19th.
Indeed.
Weird.
But they have this whole thing about this going back and forth about how he has to report in daily to some judge, and now they're saying no, he doesn't have to, and blah blah blah. I don't know really. I haven't paid attention to what it's really about.
Yeah, they were shut down a little bit by the courts, and because this is one of his quotes. His name is what's his name? Gregory Bovino, and he said, "I don't work for Karen Bass. Better get used to us now, because this is going to be normal very soon. We will go anywhere, anytime we want in Los Angeles." This guy's a major jerk. He's a real loyalist. But there were protests against Trump's recent visit in Malaysia.
Yahoo!
There weren't many people, but make Earth great again.
I like it. I think Big Brother is getting closer.
I'm not that worried about AI. I don't know why. Maybe I should be more. I don't read enough of the articles on it that maybe would make me nervous about it. But I guess I should be more nervous.
Yeah. I guess I'm not nervous. If I was 30, I might be, but apparently I'm not.
I don't know. I think 30 somethings have embraced AI. They're driving it down the road. They live it.
For now.
Well, here it is. This is the segment we talk about Trump's, what is it, his biggest project going on right now. It's the top of his list of things. It's the ballroom. Some are calling it the Epstein ballroom. And why is he building it? And it's such a
He
gut.
apparently
gut-wrenching.
plans on throwing a lot of lavish parties.
Some were saying maybe those UFC fights could happen in there. There could be some kind of cage fighting events.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but
And then I was thinking it could be easily converted into military barracks when he forms his own private army and has them stationed right there. He has, 500 guys in bunk beds, and they're waiting, some light artillery.
good
And
luck.
he'll have his own little fortifications. This was interesting. This guy said, if you're not an architect, have a seat. If this were a first-year classical architecture school project, the student would get a failing grade, I guess. It doesn't have any symmetry with the existing buildings. Look how huge it is. It's larger than the White House itself.
Yeah, it's yeah. What can you even say about this? He was willing, and the thing that was interesting to me, if you saw the articles about how the construction firm said it would be so much easier to do this if the East Wing was gone, and so he goes, and apparently he used the F word, expletive, and then said, what if we went in at night and just ripped it off? And you know how fast that happened and how shocked people were about it.
Right.
And especially considering that he said we won't touch the East Wing,
And then he went ahead and did it.
which of course that follows right into character, doesn't it? Because this is what we see from him all the time. I'm not going to do this. I won't touch Social Security, Medicare. And of course we see that being touched.
Will he complete it before his term? I mean, these kinds of projects usually take years to complete. And it is sickening, but we need to keep our eyes on it. This is what's happening. And this is the other lovely project he's planning, some kind of,
The DC Arc de Triomphe.
right, the Arc de Trump. Arc de
Oh my
Trump.
God.
One of the reporters from CBS was going, what is this? Because it was sitting there after a different kind of news briefing. The model was there, and he goes, what is this? Who's this for? And Trump goes, me. This is for me. Meaning it's like it's a Trump arc, He's building a monument to himself.
Apparently.
Apparently.
I've seen him holding a picture of him holding that little model.
That angel figure or the entire arc?
Just holding this little tiny replica of this thing.
Oh, I see, yeah.
I have a friend that has this saying that he does. What about me? What about my needs? And I'm thinking, this whole ego project that he has going on with the ballroom and perhaps this thing is, it's totally in character.
Oh, yeah, it's an ego project. That's exactly the way to put it. Here's the Goths against fascism again, which are Trump's independent arch isn't about history, it's about hierarchy. It's the architecture of ego. Exactly. There's Trump's independent arc, and it's a permanent tribute to American greatness and independence. And there's Hitler's triumphal arc, immortalizing the era of victoriousness and greatness. So yeah, it's such an outmoded way of viewing leadership and governance. These triumph to great, these, things
Well,
built.
that hits the entire nail on the head for this whole movement. Let's go back 60 years and into the good old days, which we all know is impossible to do.
Well, this particular artistic depiction has a stairway going up to the front, and others, I think on the other model we looked at, it didn't have this stairway going up with the pillars in the front.
Interesting.
And who's designing it, and who's approving the designs?
The board that is supposed to approve all projects has been fired. The entire board has been fired. You knew that, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
So, yeah. Who's approving it? That's a joke.
Yeah, but the destruction has already been done. And interestingly, I heard that the East Wing is where the First Lady's offices were.
Yes.
And that's...
And the legendary theater, which many presidents really liked.
I'm thinking in some ways it's a stab at Hillary Clinton,
I can't imagine why, because that East Wing has been Eleanor Roosevelt using that extensively. So
Right.
It's been around much longer. Whatever.
Well, speaking of other,
What the hell's this?
ridiculous stuff, there were 4 more U.S.
Oh, yeah.
strikes on boats, and it killed 14 people with 1 survivor. He's continuing to do these Venezuelan boat attacks, drug boat attacks.
In quotes.
Yeah, drug
Because
boats.
we haven't ever seen any evidence, have we?
Right.
Considering the first few that have happened, why would any Venezuelans think that they got the capacity to outrun this and do it again? I'm not sure it's not all AI.
I'm not so sure it isn't AI as well.
Did you see that one where, not this one, but the one before, where some guy was sitting at I don't know what caliber of gun it was, and he's shooting off rounds, and the boat drives out, and he's missing, and then the boat drives back the other way. Really? Are you kidding me? Why
I
would
didn't see
anybody
that.
do that?
You can go down conspiratorial rabbit holes on this one, but
Tell me.
it's the main thing is it's a form of showing power, a way of showing his power and his dominance, and it's also he's provoking a war. It's a distraction from the Epstein. Is it real? Is it wag the dog? It's just hard to fathom
Yeah.
what he's trying to do with that. What we're going to do now is watch a little video. It's about 2 minutes long, and it has to do with Trump's dealings with drug people in the past. So take a listen. I hope you can hear it.
Issue of Donald Trump's relationship to the mob and his connections over the years to mobsters. And you've also looked into that as well.
Yes, and it's not just the traditional mafia families in New York. First of all, Donald Trump's father had a business partner who was a mob guy. I'm sure Wayne talked about that. But Donald has done business with people with the Russian mob. He's done business with con artists. The guy who supplied his helicopters and managed his personal helicopter, called the Ivana, from his first wife back then, was a major cocaine trafficker who actually handled the drugs. And after he went to prison, Donald wrote a letter pleading for mercy for him. So he got 18 months as the head of the ring. The little fish who delivered the drugs, they got 20 years. Donald he continued to do business with him after he was indicted. Donald has done business all his life with mobsters and criminals because it's a way to make money.
Can you talk about Joseph Weichselbaum?
Yes, that's the guy. Joseph Weichselbaum is this mob associate. He used to do cigarette boat racing in Miami, and he once came in third right behind Charles Keating, the infamous financier who ripped off people for $1 billion. And Weichselbaum provided helicopters to the Trump organization, even though there were better capitalized, better run companies. Donald rented an apartment to Weichselbaum and his brother under very unusual circumstances. When Weichselbaum was indicted, it was for a drug operation that went from Miami to Ohio. When he agreed to plead guilty, the case was mysteriously moved to New Jersey. And who did it come before? Federal Judge Marianne Trump Berry, Donald's older sister. No one knows how this happened. Now, she removed herself from the case, but imagine, Amy, that you or one of the listeners, you're the chief judge, and a judge comes to you and says, oh, I can't handle this case because I fly in this drug trafficker's helicopters. My husband flies in them every week. My children have flown in this drug trafficker's helicopters. You know, it helps explain how this guy got a light sentence. And the question we have to ask is, why did Donald Trump need to write that letter, which could have cost him his casino license? Because he needed this guy to be his friend and not his enemy. What was going on that Donald Trump needed a drug trafficker to be his friend and not his enemy? And that's a question no one in the news media has been asking.
You got a
I inserted that mainly because it shows Donald Trump's connections to drug people in the past. And I'm thinking that some of these bombing of drug boats might have to do with that in some ways. Maybe they're some kind of territorial.
I think if you look at that and you think about the time frame, you've got another connection to the Epstein files, i.e., what's the preferred party drug? And you'll notice that he's never once mentioned that. He's always talking about fentanyl, which is, it'd be interesting to see the stats on that. Maybe we can throw that into the next show. What are the stats on drug deaths now that Trump is going after fentanyl compared to what they were before? I think that would be a very interesting thing to look at.
Right. You know, I'm just thinking because he has such ties to drug dealings, it could be one drug organization that he's aligned with, and he's taking out these Venezuelan drug boats because they're running counter to his people, you know what I mean? But I think you're right. I don't know I think I put a map in here of where the main drug running is happening in that area. There is some stuff running from Venezuela. I don't know if I put the picture in.
You know, part of the agreement that he just made with Xi has to do with squelching fentanyl. Why fentanyl?
Here's the map that shows those yellow spots are the kind of hottest kind of drug areas. So
What's
you
the
can
intersection there in Colombia? Is that Bogota, where
Yeah.
where all those points come together?
Yes, so I think things are taken from Colombia to Venezuela, then out. So the gold spots, Brazil, Bolivia, Venezuela, Panama, El Salvador, and Mexico are big drug running areas. So it looks like Venezuela does have quite a bit of stuff happening, but it comes through Colombia.
It's interesting that Ecuador and Peru have so many lines going into them, because one of the things that I understood was that a lot of the drugs were being smuggled in via the fishing trade, and there's a lot of fishing there. I don't know if you were aware of that. Just imagine a 400-pound tuna stuffed with whatever. Worth more research, you know?
It is worth more research. I mean, especially if we're going to war with Venezuela. Is it over drugs?
We're not going to Venezuela.
Well, that's what people are saying, but
Yay!
okay, the No Kings.
this.
This is the
That is classic.
the aftermath of the No Kings. ICE has no heart, GOP has no courage, Trump has no brain. Yes, these are American terrorists at work. Here they are.
Yep. Put some thought into that.
I found some much better pictures of red states that had large attendance. Tennessee, big crowds there. And I think we were talking a little bit at the beginning about this, backlash in terms of the Republican senators. But I think the people are showing up as well. The pendulum is swinging away from Trump,
Well, I was like that article I sent about the senators voting not to put tariffs on Canada. I'm wondering if the tide's turning.
Let's hope so.
And as people start to get their new medical premium bills, I think there's going to be quite an outcry.
Yeah, I think the next month we'll have
That and SNAP disappearing at the end of the month.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear more about it in the next month as we move forward, how people are feeling.
Yeah. Is this Little Rock?
I think so. Little Rock, big crowd. I didn't find these pictures for the last show in time, but I found them, so I wanted to put them up.
Whoa, Boise, go.
Yeah,
Good job,
They
kid.
got some people. And it's hard to gauge the swinging of the pendulum, I think, when you're in a blue state. But these are, because we were already there, but I think it's more about just ordinary people who don't really take an active interest in politics are now wanting to get out on the streets.
Yeah. Well, like I'm sure you've seen the articles about the Republicans backing off on the No on 50 campaign because they see it disintegrating.
No, I haven't heard that information, but how do you mean backing off? They're just not being
Not
vocal
put
about.
funds into it because it's like
It's a lost
funds into a
cause.
sinking boat.
Yeah, 50's going to pass.
And of course, when you look at the map, that's an interesting thing too. When you look at the map of states that are actively pursuing this and states that are considering it, it's a lot of states.
Yeah, then it becomes a whole different kind of.
It's this is the can of worms they opened. They opened it. We didn't.
Right. It's like they're
I mean, I would put out a sign that says yes on 50 because Texas.
Yeah, because of Texas. Exactly. Well, this last article or news story I dropped in here, I was hesitant to put it in, and I hope it doesn't cause us any trouble here on the channel. We'll see. But it has to do with the recent Time magazine cover.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of those, but there were quite
I
a
did.
few. There were quite a few spoofs, and
Yeah.
I put up a
Every
few.
late night host out there.
Yeah. So I wanted to include a couple of those just for historical record. We'll see when it shows up. Here it is. This is the Time magazine cover
They
where they
pixelated that? Why?
they pixelated it because it was too graphic. And that's where I think we might have trouble. Oh, here's the one. His struggle. Someone redid the whole cover and put a different costume on him. And a mustache.
Wrong
Interesting.
color mustache, but yeah, pretty good. Pretty close to real. You notice up there on the top too that you can really see the comb over it, how the light goes through that.
This is the one that I was concerned about.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah. We'll see if YouTube allows that to exist.
Oh, that's good. Somebody should make those. That's $1 million seller right there for the next March. Holy moly, can you imagine? Where did you find all of these? Oh my god.
I don't know. People send them and move them around. Hey, thank you for being here, Eddie. Thank you for anyone listening to A Bold and Distant Future. Stay strong, everyone. I hope we can meet again next week and maybe keep it under 20 minutes. We'll give it a shot. I know we went overtime today, but thank you for sticking it out, Eddie. Appreciate it.